You just spent money today without noticing it. Not the big purchase, the small one, the coffee, the subscription you forgot to cancel, the impulse buy at checkout. It felt like nothing. But 5,000 years ago, a merchant in Mesopotamia would have called that moment dangerous. He had a rule for it. You don't. And that missing rule is why your money disappears faster than you can explain. Here is the strange part. That rule wasn't about willpower, it wasn't about budgeting apps or spreadsheets. It was older than coins themselves. And once you understand it, you'll never look at a receipt the same way again. Let's go back further than most people think to go, before coins, before paper money, before banks. For most of human history, there was no such thing as cash in your pocket. There was only debt, memory, and trust. Anthropologist David Graeber spent years studying these early economies. His research overturned a story most of us were taught in school. We were told that before money, people bartered. You had chickens, I had grain, we traded directly. Simple. Except Graeber found almost no historical evidence this ever happened at scale. What actually existed was credit. Villagers kept mental ledgers of who owed what to whom. Money didn't invent trust. Trust came first. Money was invented to formalize it. Why does this matter to you today? Because your brain still runs on that ancient ledger system. You don't consciously calculate every transaction the way a calculator would. You feel debts. You feel favors. You feel fairness and unfairness long before you do the math. That feeling is thousands of years old. It didn't evolve for spreadsheets. It evolved for survival in small groups where remembering who helped you and who took from you meant the difference between belonging and starving. So here's the twist. If your brain evolved to track fairness and trust between people, what happens when money stops being social and becomes invisible? What happens when you tap a card instead of handing someone a coin? This is where the ancient trading law comes in. Merchants across early Mesopotamia, Phoenicia, and later medieval Europe operated by one unspoken principle: never let money move without a witness. Every transaction had a face attached to it, a name, a relationship. Even large loans were sealed with clay tablets listing exact names, dates, and terms, kept in temple archives for anyone to verify. Money was never anonymous. It was always tied to a person, a promise, a memory. Compare that to how you spend today: a tap, a swipe, a subscription renewal you don't even see happen. No face, no witness, no memory formed. And here is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Behavioral economist Richard Thaler showed through decades of research that people mentally sort money into separate categories, a concept he called mental accounting. Cash in your wallet feels heavy, real, and painful to spend. Money on a screen feels light, abstract, almost fictional. Thaler's experiments repeatedly found that people spend more, faster, and with less resistance when the money is invisible. Not because they don't care about their finances, because their ancient brain never evolved a witness for invisible transactions. Think about that. The ancient trading law wasn't really about honesty between merchants. Modern banking figured this out, whether by design or by accident, and built an entire economy around it. Every frictionless payment method removes a witness. Every one-click purchase removes a pause. Every autopay removes the moment where your ancient brain would have said, "Wait, do I actually want to give this away?" You might be thinking, surely awareness alone should fix this. Shouldn't knowing the trick disarm it? Not quite. And this is where it gets genuinely strange. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman, alongside his longtime collaborator Amos Tversky, demonstrated something called loss aversion. Losing money hurts roughly twice as much, psychologically, as gaining the same amount feels good. Their research reshaped how economists understand human decision-making. But here's the catch. Loss aversion only works if your brain registers the loss as a loss in the first place. If money leaves your account silently, with no ceremony, no physical exchange, no witness, your brain may not register a loss at all. You feel poorer over time without ever feeling the individual moments that made you poorer. It's death by 1,000 invisible cuts, and evolution never prepared you to notice invisible cuts. There's an experiment that makes this almost comically clear. Economist Keith Chen ran a now-famous study training capuchin monkeys at Yale to use small metal tokens as currency, trading them for food. The monkeys quickly understood basic trade. They reacted to price changes. They avoided risky bets just like humans do. But researchers noticed something else. When a trade was clear and visible, the monkeys stayed disciplined. When it wasn't, their spending judgment fell apart completely. Even a brain millions of years apart from ours gets confused by invisible money. So what did the old traders actually understand? Not thrift, not restriction, witness. A clay tablet took time to write. A face-to-face trade demanded a pause. That friction wasn't inefficiency, it was protection, built directly into the transaction. We removed that friction for convenience. And convenience is exactly where your money quietly disappears. Here's what actually works today, and it's just ancient friction in modern form. Keep your savings in a separate account you rarely look at. Write down every purchase, even briefly, so your brain registers it as real. Pause for 10 seconds before an online purchase, and give yourself back the moment a face-to-face trade once guaranteed automatically. The old traders never had more willpower than you. They simply never let money move without someone watching it happen. Bring the witness back, even if that witness is only you. You spent money today without noticing it. Next time, notice.